So, tonight, late night message. I'm not sure if I have a title for it, but I just really feel like I want to be real right now. I want to be real with me as a Christian woman. And you can judge me in my walk right now of who I am, but this is real life that I'm facing. And it starts with today. So, today, after I've had a miscarriage in April 25th to be exact, today, June 11th, I had another miscarriage. Part of me just really, I don't know. So, like, part of me keeps saying, like, it's okay. God is still good. It's okay. God is still good. And I know that. I know God is still good. I get it. I know the numbers. I get it with miscarriages being more common than normal and all these things, but I would be a liar to keep how I really feel to myself, and that is confusion, which is not of God, and anger and hurt. Like, a lot of me wants to just drink a glass of wine and listen to Akon. Like, I'm talking about like that lonely song, or what's that other song that I love by Akon? He used to be like my go-to, guys. I Try So Hard. And then the Sorry song, like I'll Take the Blame from You song, or Blame It On Me song by Akon. I feel like those three songs have been like my songs through marriage and being a stay-at-home mother all together. Just because I feel like I always try so hard. I feel like I'm lonely. And it's crazy. I have all of my children with me, and yet I still feel lonely. My husband tries to do as much as he can when he can, but I can't truly rely on him, because reality is he has to work. Like, he has to. And he could only do so much. Like, he's not God. And I can't depend on him to be that for me when I'm hurting. And sadly, he's not here while I'm going through this miscarriage, which I was already fearful of. Like, after the last one, I know the doctors were like, okay, like, you can try immediately if you want to. And the thing is, I told the doctors, I've never tried for any of my children. They just came, and I don't want to try again. I don't want to go through this again, so I don't want to try. And they told me that the chances of this happening again is very slim, like to happen, at least that pregnancy, the embryonic pregnancy, very slim to happen because it's very rare. But also, like, I have 3 healthy children, so there's clearly nothing wrong with me to have those 3 healthy children from 3 healthy pregnancies. So it's still possible for me to conceive and have a normal pregnancy after that. And to me, I was like, no, I just don't want to deal with that. And I really was confused mentally. I faced a lot of anxiety. And I faced a lot of anxiety, and just because I was like, man, Lord, like, what does that mean for my future? Like, what does that mean? Like, for me to go to that, what does that mean? I feel like everything has a meaning, and I just kept thinking, like, why would this happen, right? And I told my husband I don't want to have any more, and he's like very strong about his beliefs too, um and I'm grateful because he wears a lot of the faith on his shoulders and really holds it well for our family. And he told me, we're not going to change things. We're going to do everything normal and everything's going to be okay. Like, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. Everything happens for a reason and everything's going to be okay. And I kept telling myself, yeah, that's true. Like, maybe there's something bigger that I didn't know about. You know, I was having like these weird like chest pains and all these things happening, and I was like at some point becoming fearful because like all these women were like dying through cardiac arrest, having their babies, right? And I just at some point became fearful. And me, I'm the type that I don't watch the news. I found out the news through my sisters with the weather or through my husband with anything bad, because I just don't have time or mental health to consume everything bad. I feel like the news just tells me everything bad, right? And so I was like, hey, maybe that's what that was about. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my hot girl summer. For me, hot girl was just about, being spiritually fed, drinking a lot of water, fasting, being all about God, like my hot girl summer, feeling that heat, holy presence. And I was ready for it. And I wasn't expecting to get pregnant a month and a half later. I really wasn't. And I did. So much so that my husband told me to take a test. And I was like, babe, I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, why are you asking me about a pregnancy test? And, but because he said it and I had my dreams about it, I said, let me just take it. I took my test. I was pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset because, I just wasn't ready mentally. I wasn't ready from the last pregnancy. And, I was upset about it, which I know I told God I will like, appreciate, but the last pregnancy, I was so excited, like I told God I would be, and everything happened the way it happened. So, this pregnancy, I was upset because I was like, Lord, I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready for this. I kid you not. I found that on a Friday, and throughout this journey, like for months, I'll go in and out of heart, like chest pains and stuff. And I was just like worried, like I'll ignore it, but I'll listen to my body, but I'll be like, okay, maybe it's anxiety. Like, I've struggled with anxiety since middle school, and I did all the testings and everything for it, and I went to therapy for it. I did all that stuff, especially after my daddy passed away. But but I just remember these past 2 weeks, I was just having like severe chest pains that my body, my left side, it like literally Sunday into Monday, like my left side went numb to where like I couldn't feel anything. Especially driving back from a different town home. I was like breathing hard, which I've been experiencing, but my husband just kept convincing me it's anxiety, and I kept convincing myself, okay, because he knows me, of course, but I guess because I haven't had this in so long that And me, like, my anxiety, I'll just pass out. Like, I guess I kind of forgot my stages leading up to the passing out, that I just couldn't remember, like, all those, actually, like, the body experiences in itself. I just don't recall experiencing that. So, I took myself to the hospital because I was scared with my daddy being a heart patient. He passed away, but with him being a heart patient, I was like, oh my gosh. And then my sister found out later that she was. So I was like, oh Lord, like, what if this is happening? Like, what if I put my body through so much stress from pick a thing in my life, that what if it accumulated to this? And I was nervous. So I took myself to the hospital. Of course, the hospital, like, of course, they did all the EKGs and all that, stuff. And because of my pregnancy numbers on the pregnancy test, they told me that with the x-ray, you know, you're like, when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to, because like radiation, I believe, and all these things. And so they asked for my consent. I gave them consent because I was like, overall, I have 3 other babies here, and I'm a mother to them, and I need to take care of them. And if God really wants this pregnancy, then He'll let it happen, right? And so I took the test, the X-ray test, and they gave me like a shield or whatever, and that happened. And the next day, that night, Tuesday night, I started experiencing like pains. And to say it, like, all that, apparently, like, they want me to still get more research, whatever, but they believe, because of my history of anxiety, that I was having anxiety. And so I was shocked that that's what it was, or that's what they assume. They just wanted me to go to my actual doctor, because that was just a random hospital. And so they wanted me to follow up, of course. And so Tuesday, I started experiencing cramping that night and spotting. And then today, Wednesday, it happened. And I could not help but to wonder, God, why? Why? What is the point of all of this? What is the point to go through this in the first place? Like, I literally went years thinking there was something wrong with me, and almost believing the doctors that I couldn't have kids because of endometriosis, which they thought I had, but come to find out, I just had hyperpelvic floor dysfunction, or hyperpelvic floor syndrome, which I found out after my first pregnancy. But I heard them say that and other things of why I shouldn't have children, and because of my body. And nothing happened for years with my husband. Like, nothing happened. Let me tell you, like, we weren't married, of course, but because we were going to get married, like, we did do things not the right way, and just nothing happened. And I kid you not, when I got engaged to him, I got pregnant, and then we got married, and I had my baby the next month after we got married. And then I got pregnant like 3 months later, and then I had my baby, my second baby, and then 6 months later I got pregnant again. So like for 3 years in a row I got pregnant. And that's been the blessed thing. The blessed thing. So I just got confused and upset with God, because I'm like, man, Lord, like, I went through all these years without something happening, and then I had 3 good years. And I asked you, God, to give me a break. Just a year break. Because I just need my body for myself. Which I get it. My body's not my own. I know that He says that. I get that. But I just physically just wanted a break, And then He gave that to me. And then when I tried after the year break, I didn't try, but like I was open to it happening. Nothing happened, which was November, December. And then January, I said, nope. Okay, I'm back to like me. I could go another year without anything happening and do this and do that, like all the plans I had. And then I ended up getting pregnant in January. And then in March, that's when I started experiencing complications. And literally after my birthday, a few days after my birthday, I found out about the embryonic pregnancy. And in April, that's when I finally, like, my body, through the procedure where they do like the I had no choice but to go this route. It's called an abortion route, where my husband had to insert the pills vaginally to open up my cervix, because like they said, like, my own body did not want to receive that I was not pregnant, which still hurts, because my body and my mind really wanted to be pregnant. And and I had so much joy for it. But it didn't happen. So like I said, that kind of really did mentally get to me. And of course I thought about my future. Of course I was like, what does this mean? And now after today, of it happening twice, I'm like, God, like, you are the life giver. Like, you give life. So I thank you, God. Like, I kept saying, thank you, Lord, that like this didn't come out to be like a stillborn or something later in the future with me in it, or the kid, the baby. But like, I still was like, Lord, you're still good. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you know better than I know. Like, your plans are better than mine, which I know that's true. Like, my mind mentally knows that, but my emotions are saying, but what was the point of going through that experience? Like, what was the point of it all? And because of my emotions, I'm like, does this mean that I'm done having babies? Like, does this mean that, like, what does this mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I am shaken up. And I think that, I'm of course shaken up through it, because even though I was disappointed of being pregnant, like that soon after like, just, I started thinking, like, man, Lord, like, this is considered my fourth miscarriage. So, this will be 3 in a row. Like, not 3 in a row, like, well, like, after my last one was born, I got pregnant right after. It was never confirmed through the doctor, but I took a pregnancy test, actually 3, and they all had faint lines, which my husband thought didn't count. But us women, we know. Like, I mean, my other ones had faint lines, and then coming to find out I was pregnant, and I had all 3 of them. But, like I had that happen, and he was like, but we were going through a transition. Like, he just started the state trooper job, and we got relocated, and all this change was happening and stuff. So, we weren't focused on it. And then, like, that was December, going into January. And then in March, it happened. And I was like, wait a minute. But I didn't have enough time to think about it because I was going through so much that I didn't have time to mentally go through that. So I just kept it to myself like forever. I honestly didn't tell my husband. Um, I didn't tell my husband because I just knew there was a lot going on, and I just couldn't tell him because I just didn't want to stress him out with the job that he does, you know? I didn't want him to be distracted worrying about me at home with the kids when he's out there putting his life on the line for everybody else, you know? So I kept that to myself, and I was okay with that, to be honest. Like, I really was, like, I mean, clearly I was sad, but, like, I wasn't devastated the way I feel now. But then I thought, man, that was one, and then two just recently, and then three today. And I'm like, man, Lord, like, so am I done having children? Like, is that what you want for me? And you know, the hardest part is that everybody will tell me birth control, birth control, birth control. I don't believe in birth control. I've tried the natural ways of birth control, and all three forms still failed me. And the doctor just told me, like, hey, the only way to not get pregnant is by not having sex at all. And I'm like, dude, I waited 20 something years for my husband. Like, what do you mean? Like, I kept myself together until him. Like, so that's kind of hard for me. And I've just now recently found out that there are condoms that are not latex because I'm allergic to latex. But I'm like, dude, like, that's my husband, you know? Like, there's a description in Enon, or wait, hold on, I don't want to butcher it, but it was basically a man kind of like pulled out having sex with, I believe, his wife or another woman. Please look this up for yourself. But he ended up like putting his sperm on the ground, and then he died right after. And I'm like, okay, like, maybe like we're not supposed to be doing that. Like, we're supposed to just trust in God, because like I said, for years nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. And out of nowhere, God just blessed us 3 years in a row with babies. And clearly I'm fertile enough to keep getting pregnant, but like nothing's happening. And like I said, in that year span that I asked God to give me a break, I wasn't using protection. Like, he literally did it for me. So that's when I kind of just started feeling some type of way, like, well, then what is this? What's going on? Why is this happening? Like, why? What does this mean? And so that's why I started experiencing anxiety and depression, because I just started getting confused on, like, what does that mean for my future? And for a woman, we all, like, even when we're raising kids, we may say, like, oh yeah, I'm done. And, you know, like, we may have our moments, whatever, but, like, to really tell ourselves that that last one was our last one, our last pregnancy, or that we're hanging up that curtain of our lives of carrying, that's hard. And I'm still gonna pray to God, because only He knows what that's about. I still believe that the 5 He meant, which now I'm thinking, like, what if that just means like 5 as a family? But I know what I heard. I know what my husband heard separately about 5, and like, while we had our separate encounters with God on the same day at the same time, but literally in separate places, like because he was in the academy, and that happened like from the time he described to the time I described, like, it was literally the exact same time. And I really believe what God says, because I mean, He's the same God that told me that my husband was my husband, and we went through hell to be together, to be honest. Like, and that's just because it was beautiful at first, but like I said, when we step into sin by having sex before marriage, that's when things went downhill. And so we went through a lot. And of course, he left the States, and it was just a lot, and a lot of recovery from everything that happened, and a lot of healing that we both had to face, that I had to really go to God for years about. But I heard what God said about him, and it happened. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, what is the point of these miscarriages though right now? Why do I feel like with my husband that I waited for, I don't want to have to use birth control with him. I don't want to have to feel ashamed and embarrassed, or feel like I'm hiding something from people when I want to share good news about a pregnancy, but then I hide it. Like the first year I hid for my reasons, clearly, just because of things we went through. Like I just hid it because there's some people who don't want to share good news with you, or like my first experience, kind of ruined it for my other ones. And it was really just fun keeping it a secret with my husband and I, to be honest. Like it was like an inside joke and something that we got to do together. Like we got to determine everything. We live far from family, so like we got to make up our rules for our home and our children, and we got to do it together. Like even though like he was away a lot, like he was still my partner, so like we got to really do it together, even with him afar, like he still parents from afar. So like needless to say, I just got to the point of like, man, Lord, like he's my husband. Like I shouldn't have to feel like I have to be on birth control, or that I'm embarrassed if I get pregnant by my husband again, or that people are going to judge me for having another miscarriage and say, leave your body alone. Like, how can I leave my body alone? I've literally been trying to take care of my body forever. I have tried to do so much in taking care of my body. Like, how can I do that? Show me. I did try, and God just kept giving me babies that I'm blessed for, that I love and I enjoy, like, but that was His will. And so it's like, knowing that people are gonna say like, and I know it doesn't matter what people say, but it just stinks because even my own thoughts think, why can't I be with my husband without the pain of this happening? How can I be with my husband without worrying about getting pregnant and going through another miscarriage now? Or in the past where I had to just keep praying like, Lord, please just give me a break. Please just give me, like, I want to have sex with my husband without getting pregnant every single time. Like, and that's nothing to say about my babies. Nothing to say. But I'm just saying, like, because I'm only in my late 20s. So I'm like, I mean, God willing, I have like a lot of time with my husband left for future, and I don't want to have a baby every year, like 30 something kids. Like, come on. So it just all became confusing, to be honest. Like, Lord, what do I do? Like, how's this gonna work? What does this mean? I am struggling, to be honest, guys. Like, what I write in my blogs, like, and what I say on here, like, I truly, genuinely mean those things when I am pumping you up about God, because those are things that I went through, that I could overcome, that I could actually say and testify. And this is something I'm going to overcome from. Like, I know it. I mentally know it too. But I'd be lying to say I'm not in pain. I'd be lying to say I don't feel, I don't know, like, I'd be lying if I said that I had it all together right now, because I really feel like I don't. And I know that's okay, because in my weakness right now, which I'm grateful for, I know that God is with me and is so present, and so is my strength to keep going. Because one, I don't got no choice but to keep going. But two, I know that He has promises set before me. I don't know what my family planning looks like. I've only done the lovey-dovey stage of, oh, we want this many, or God told us this many. I don't know what that looks like of of the body. Like, I mean, I know my body needs to heal. Mentally, I feel like my body needs to heal. And maybe that's what God's saying, like, I need to heal. But I'm like, what does that look like when it comes down to that part of my relationship with my husband? Because we are very intimate people. And I don't know what that looks like. I mean, we have intimacy in other ways, clearly. But, like, that's a big part of our lives, you know? And I don't know how to do that without getting pregnant. Like, clearly it's worked. I prayed about it. But like I said, it's just, what does these pregnancies mean? Because if God gives life and there was no life, then what does this mean? I mean, the first one, even this second one, maybe there was, maybe there was something coming, like forming. And the one last year, I did see something, or two somethings, which of course I've seen before my first miscarriage with him back in college. But it just really threw me off, guys. It threw me off. And I'm being real with you, because women, if you've gone through this more than once, you're not alone. Clearly you're not alone. And the doctors say it's normal. And honestly, like, even though I was kind of fearful and I didn't want to get pregnant again because of my last experience, I kind of really did believe the doctors of, like, oh, chances of it happening again is very slim. And I kind of do run with that this go round. But apparently, I don't know if I messed it up with the x-ray, or maybe it was when my whole family had the stomach bug and I didn't eat for like literally a whole week during the most important times that I should have been eating. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I know that the only thing I know, honestly, at this point is God is still good. His ways are better, and He knows. I don't, but He knows. He knows what He's doing. I'm still sad, and anybody who's going through this with me, in this season, 2025 season, I am going through it too right now, and I'm hurting. Like I said, I just kind of want to drink a glass of wine and listen to some Akon about how I've tried so hard and all these other things, and how I feel lonely and all this other stuff. But I'm really fighting myself, because I know how I mentally can get in another place if I fall into that. Like, I know myself, if things from the past. But I'm really going through it, guys. And I know I'm going to recover, because my race is not finished. But if you could pray for me, if you could just pray for me, extend prayer to me, I would really appreciate it. And for you who's gone through this, or going through this, or experience any of what I've just said, remember, you're not alone. Remember, you're not alone. And it's not that I just went through this with you, but that God has never left you. He is with you right now. He's with me. And as confusing as it may be, which God is, like I said, God is not of confusion. So I know that plays with our spiritual journey in itself. But this is the time that we have to combat with truth. This is the time where we had to combat with truth, with the Word of God over our future, with the Word of God over our life. I want to look up this scripture. It's Galatians 6-9. And it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." We cannot give up, women, over our bodies that go through so much change in this process, over our mental health that feels it during that time, and our spiritual health that just sometimes grow weary and placed on the back burner because we're trying to manage it alone and on our own. But we cannot grow weary. We cannot grow weary. We cannot give up, because there is a harvest. And what the enemy meant for evil, God turns for good. And that is a promise that we have to, that's a promise we have to speak and declare over our life. I'm not the only one. I'm not alone, and nor are you. Because we sisters are going through it together. But God is with us, and that's the most important thing. And I know that this may be something like seem like a venting moment. I just had so much hess because I felt like I didn't have time to cry about it today because I had to raise my children. And I just didn't want to cry with them about it. I was frustrated, don't get me wrong. Like, I did have frustrated moments throughout the day because of the pain, like the literal, like, physical pain that I'm feeling as it's being released out of me. But I just felt like I couldn't cry, and I didn't want to cry with them. But I know that I can't ignore my emotions, nor can I place my emotions on the back burner, because I know it can turn into different things. And that's not what I want for myself, nor do I want any spirits around my children of that sort. And I know that God knows my true heart. He knows if I'm angry. He knows if I'm sad, and I know He wants the raw me. Like, He wants me raw and vulnerable. And He wants me to be able to know that I can go to Him and cry out to Him. He doesn't want me to feel like I can hide things. Like, He doesn't want you to feel like you have to hide things from Him. He knows everything. He wants you to feel comfortable with going to Him, though, to your Father, to say what needs to be said. And so I was going to keep this all to myself, because I'm like, and another one, and another one. I already know people's judgments because I've already had judgments on myself. And maybe the same judgments you've already said. I know my body needs to heal. I know these things. I've tried. Like, I already know. But God is the author of life. He's the comforter. And I know that in this time, an experience. I know that the one thing he wants is my confession. Like, he wants my pour out. He wants my vulnerability. And he wants to swoop in and be the father that he has chosen to be for me, but that I have made him over myself too. That I've chosen him to be Lord of my life. And this is just the time that I felt like after having my moment, I just felt like I just wanted to just be real. Like I said, everything else is more professional, more more like may not even sound professional, but like, I mean, like, it just sounds all more put together. And tonight I just like, everything was maybe more thought out, and right now I'm just pouring out, because miscarriages are hard. It's difficult, and I just don't want to live a life that's lying about my walk with God and think, oh yeah, like, I have one and I'm okay, I will be okay, I know that. But I'm not gonna lie about how I feel right now. And it's okay, because the way David wept in like all of Psalms, it's okay to go through the season of weeping. The sun still comes up tomorrow, but it's okay to have these moments. And I just want you to know, it's crazy. I was gonna do a video more about my embryonic experience with that miscarriage and all the statistics and all this other stuff, but I didn't expect a pregnancy and another miscarriage right after. So I don't know if I'm really gonna be able to do that again. But like I said, you're not alone. I love you. Shalom. I do want to add that it's a new morning, and my husband did surprise me last night by driving for the night to come and be with me, so that I wasn't alone through all of that. And so I am really grateful for him and his prayers, and just the time that we had together. And this morning, let him allow me to sleep in as much as he could before he had to hit the road again for work. But I just want to add that during all of this, during every phase, that one thing I remember the whole time, and that is still constant in my head, is God saying, do not worry. With the scripture in Matthew, when he's like, do I not feed the birds? Do I not clothe them? And all these things, like, do not worry. Sorry if you hear thunder this morning. It's been storming really bad over here. But, and so I'm just really thankful for him surprised me with that visit, so that I could actually really rest. And yeah, I'm doing a lot better today. Still hurting, and but I'm still doing a lot better. So praise God on that. Okay, I love you guys. Have a good day.